Oya, the greatest sorceress among the gods, admired only one thing: perfection, my own. They call Eve a threat, but tell me, what woman could possibly frighten a goddess like me? The round table has gone blind. Impossible. Nothing escapes its sight. Winds of the void, arise! Storm of the edge, awake! Heed my command right now!
Oya stepped into the throne room, furious, drenched in blood. "Explain this!" Sango burst out in fury at the sight of Oya, and she couldn't care less. Her beautiful face was ruined. "This is all Eve's fault. See what she did to me. My beautiful face!" Oya burst back in anger. The gods looked upon her shocked. She had shouted back at the king, and not only that, she was overpowered by Eve, the strongest sorceress in the kingdom. Oya kept screaming in frustration, while the gods looked upon her like she had gone mad as she took her seat, looking at her face from a materialized mirror of her making. The female gods snickered at the self-loving god Oya, whispering amongst themselves how much she deserved it. They had always boiled with jealousy. It was no false claim that she was indeed beautiful, but seeing that scar on her face made them chuckle at her state. But their attention was taken away from Oya to a husk, hard and commanding voice of the warrior god, Ogun. "This is beyond me. A mere girl," Ogun spoke in annoyance, shaking the boots of gods. "She shouldn't even be this strong to oppose Oya." He paused and looked at the gods around the table standing, displaying incredible muscles, with his cutlass by his waist and his bald head gleaming in the light. "Let me go down to earth and destroy her," he added, flexing his muscles to prove a point, while the female lesser gods swooned, whispering to themselves who would be next in his bed. "I'll bring her head." Sango just watched silently as the tattoo on Ogun's forehead twitched with the angry expression he had on, before responding, "She won't be easily defeated." Simple and true. At least Sango knew it for himself. It was Eve they still didn't understand the statement, "We were doomed." "Are you saying I, Ogun, the greatest warrior and deity of iron, will be too little to take down one entity?" He glared at Sango, the room becoming tense with both gods glaring at each other. "You wouldn't defeat her," Orunmila stated, breaking the silence. "Now sit," Ogun grumbled, but took his seat, angry they still couldn't believe in his strength. He was going to prove them wrong after this gathering. In fact, what was stopping him now from taking a break and going down to the mortal world? The table wasn't picking up on Eve's movement, and before they knew he was gone. He will be back with her head. He smiled to himself at his plan. "If you would excuse me," he said, and left the room while every god silently watched. They knew deep down he was going to do something stupid, but no one said a thing. "Bring back her head, and you will lay beside me tonight." It was Oya's voice in his head with that sweet promise. Ogun had always dreamt of bedding her till his last day, and to get such a promise elated his spirit. "I'll open a portal for you to make your journey fast." Then he felt the surge of energy rise from within him as though a conduit for the great Oya. His body burst into rays of purple light, all centering at where he stood, opening a hole in the air, swirling round and round, bigger and bigger, till he could step through. "You let him do as he wished," they chanted in playful voices, pointing at Oya circling her chair, laughing. "You pests, shut up," Oya snarled at the twin, one boy, one girl, but they kept laughing. Why should they? Oko, the god of agriculture and harvest, spoke, cutting her off. "We all know you did," he stroked his goatee. "You cannot hide your powers well enough." She scoffed. "And so what?" The wind picked up. "She deserves to be punished for what she did to me." Ogun landed smoothly, scanning his area quickly to see if Eve was in sight. But to his disappointment, she wasn't. Did Oya open the wrong path? He shook the thought. She could never make that mistake. She was called powerful for a reason. Ogun straightened, holding the hilt of his cutlass just in case. He took a step forward in search of Eve, but what he didn't expect happened. "Are you looking for me?" Eve stood behind him, smiling. Ogun ran forward, quick, drawing his cutlass, facing her in a threatening stance. Eve laughed hard, like some kind of joke had been displayed, funny enough to bring tears to her eyes. Ogun felt insulted, but couldn't move. There was no opening. She wasn't giving any opening for him to attack. She took steps forward, cleaning the tears that escaped her eyes, looking at him like a child, when she was indeed the one who looked like a child, fragile and slim, with an average height, while he stood tall with muscles. Quickly, he materialized another cutlass from iron in his other hand, hoping to at least get one in, even when his godly instinct told him to run. "Are you planning on killing me?" Eve asked, still smiling as she cocked her head to the side. "You are brave," she finished, but before he could take a defensive stance, she was in front of him, with the ends of both cutlass in between her fingers. "Good quality, but I am sure this isn't your best." Ogun slid backwards, letting go of the cutlass she had in her hands, and materializing another on both hands, while the one Eve held turned to dust with just a little of her power. Fear was starting to kick in, and also something he couldn't quite comprehend yet. "Make this fun for me. Show me all you have." Eve smiled some more, and in that moment he thought she was beautiful and didn't see the monster they saw, but it was certainly foolish for him to think that. Her hair stood at the sides, flowing with the wind, bloodlust seeping through her. Eve had made sure to only let a little ooze out of her so she wouldn't frighten him too much, just jolt him enough to be eager to fight. She needed to let loose in this body of hers. She was wrong. The amount of red fumes that Ogun saw made him shake in extreme fear, but his pride was definitely stronger. He dismissed the two cutlass, knowing it would not even graze her skin or even cause her any difficulty to finish him off, but started a chant. "Iron is blood, red is life, mix with the mud, cut like a knife." As soon as his chant was over, the wind circled around him. Eve was impressed. The light sparked close to his body, igniting a strong fire, red like blood. His body burned, but his hands more. The flames burned brighter from his elbow down his fingertips. "Good," Eve smiled. Now Ogun understood what it meant to feel excited about a fight. It was always boring. He had never had to reach this stage for anyone, not even the gods, because this technique was a final oath. Once used, there is a high chance you will lose your powers. He had nothing to lose, since he knew he was going to die. He should have listened, but his pride was definitely his downfall. The fog cleared, and standing there was Ogun, who was once dark-colored, now a man who looked like he was painted white from the crown of his head to the sole of his feet. His fingers replaced by massive claws, with large spikes of iron on his elbow down. The tattoo on his forehead shone like burning fire. He looked like a monster. "Oh my!" Eve exclaimed playfully as Ogun attacked, his left claw outstretched to strike her right in the chest, but she moved away effortlessly, tilting to the opposite side. He pulled back quickly and struck with his elbow, which she dodged again. She was yet to move from the spot she stood, waiting on an attack, like child's play, smiling at his efforts to take her down. She ducked the upcoming blow, and with a twist to his body, his arms shot straight up, aiming for her jaw from below. She had no choice but to move back a step. He made her move. She was happy. She decided to attack back. It almost felt like she was training him. Ogun. He couldn't comprehend why. She would have killed him several times, but each time she would point at a critical area and childishly shout, "Bang," so he had time to escape. The god was just toying with him, and he knew it. He was surely doomed, and his power was weakening. He couldn't hold out any longer. His skin was back to its deep chocolate color, and the metal on his arms shattered like dust. Maybe he had lost all his powers, he thought, with a sad smile, as his knees found the floor. He acknowledged her. No, he reverenced her, as he looked up in his kneeling position at the power that stood in front of him. Eve, goddess of all, he took a bow.